Between late January and early February 2025, Queensland, Australia faced one of its most severe flooding. The torrential rainfall that hit the region was described as unprecedented, with some areas recording over 1,000 millimeters of rain in just a few days.
Uh-oh.
What?
I'm pretty sure that is the alarm of death.
The relentless downpour resulted in catastrophic flooding, submerging towns, destroying infrastructure, and forcing thousands of residents to evacuate their homes.
This is the second last grid. And yeah. She's over. Well and truly over.
The flooding was triggered by an intense monsoonal, trough that had stalled over North Queensland, bringing days of continuous heavy rain. Meteorologists warned early on that the situation could become dire.
There's somebody else's cupboard or something coming down the creek. The current is just unfucking believable. Unbelievable.
By the last week of January, river levels were rising alarmingly, and flash floods began to sweep through low-lying areas. The Bruce Highway, a major transport route, became completely impassable in several sections, cutting off communities from essential supplies and emergency services. In Townsville, one of the hardest hit cities, water levels rose so quickly that many residents had only minutes to evacuate before their homes were completely submerged.
Ten past 5 in the morning, and I was wrong about two things. One, how high the water would get. Two, the wheelie bin. It's okay. It's not the end of the world. Oh, no way. He's gonna break. Oh, no. He got it.
As the rains continued into February, the impact of the disaster became even more apparent. Entire neighborhoods were left underwater, with homes, businesses, and vehicles swept away by the raging floodwaters.
These guys have got the right idea. Oh, wheelie bin. Come for a swim. And yep, old mate's car is still
The
down
small
there.
town of Ingham was particularly affected, with widespread flooding, rendering roads and bridges unusable. In some areas, floodwaters reached rooftops, leaving people stranded and in urgent need of rescue.
What's down there?
Our pool is under there.
Emergency response teams conducted hundreds of swift water rescues, pulling residents to safety from their flooded homes and vehicles. Unfortunately, the tragedy was compounded by reports of casualties, including the death of a woman in Ingham who was caught in the floodwaters.
Blankets.
The floods had a profound impact on the education sector in North Queensland. Over 100 schools were forced to close due to safety concerns, including 65 state schools, 13 independent schools, and 25 Catholic schools.
Bit of an update, got the roast going. Still windy, relentless rain, like it's just crazy the amount of rain that's come up so much.
The floods also led to widespread power outages and disruptions to essential services. Communities such as Magnetic Island and Palm Island experienced significant interruptions in electricity and water supplies, compounding the challenges faced by residents.
Well, there you go. But,
โอ้น้ำเยอะมากเลยค่ะฝนตกวันนี้
เมื่อก่อนมีแต่ในคลองนี้เพราะว่าตอนนี้
กระจายไปหมดเลย
Authorities worked tirelessly to restore these services, but the extent of the damage meant that many areas remained without power for extended periods. The loss of essential services not only affected daily life, but also hampered recovery efforts, as communication and transportation were severely impacted.
Yeah. In response to the crisis, ADF was mobilized to assist in relief and recovery operations. The ADF provided critical support in evacuating residents from inundated areas, delivering essential supplies to isolated communities,
Here we go again. And if you notice there's no dog crying in the background, that's because there's nobody in the yard to play with.
Australian Defence Force, their involvement was instrumental in reaching areas that were otherwise inaccessible due to flood waters, ensuring that aid reached those most in need.
That'll be 20 metres long.
Thousands of people were displaced, forced to seek refuge in emergency evacuation centres set up in schools, community halls and sports facilities. Many residents lost everything they owned as floodwaters destroyed furniture, appliances and personal belongings. The economic impact of the disaster was equally severe. Damage to infrastructure was extensive, with roads, bridges and rail lines severely compromised. The Bruce Highway, a critical transport artery for the region.
Check this out, guys. She's flowing so hard. It's been raining all day long.
Gungla Range, 7:30 a.m. on Saturday morning.
This was not the first time they had experienced such devastation, with memories of past floods still fresh in their minds. However, the 2025 floods were of an unprecedented scale, with many comparing the destruction to the historic 2019 Townsville floods. The closures affected thousands of students, disrupting their education and daily routines. Parents were advised to consult with school, principals or regional offices for updates on access and safety.
Alright, see that? That's
And that gap there was where probably a 150-year-old rainforest tree was, and it just snapped in half and fell down.
As the floodwaters began to recede, the full extent of the devastation became clear. Homes were left uninhabitable, authorities working to restore essential services and rebuild damaged areas.
cast netted a mud cod in front, a few plastics. But yeah, it's insane how much water. And then we got this massive log.
However, there were growing calls for improved flood, mitigation strategies to prevent such disasters in the future. Many experts pointed to the increasing frequency and intensity of extreme weather events as a sign that climate change was exacerbating the risk of flooding in Queensland.
It's just past 2 o'clock and our whole ground floor is a lake. There's the creek over there.
Despite the overwhelming destruction, the resilience of the affected, communities shone through. Volunteers, local organizations and emergency responders worked tirelessly to provide support to those in need.
It is ours whether it works or not.
We might come down again if we can still get down here in the morning. And if it still rains, you might find that bridge will be under.
Gate's just gone under now. There's somebody's fridge on the sign. ตรงนั้นอันตรายไม่เดินผ่านหรอกนี่แหละกลัวอะไรหัก
Social media played a crucial role in coordinating rescue efforts, with residents using online platforms to share information, request assistance, and offer help to those stranded. The sense of community spirit was evident as people came together to assist their neighbors.
We're officially an island cut off. Pretty wild.
There's your afternoon update, guys. We'll try and get another one in the morning for you. I'm going back indoors now.
Stuck up against the sign.
The North Queensland floods of early 2025 had far-reaching impacts on the region's, communities, infrastructure and services. The disaster prompted a significant response from government agencies, the military and local organizations, all working together to support affected residents and begin the arduous task of rebuilding. As the floodwaters receded, the focus shifted to the long-term recovery and rebuilding process. Authorities emphasized the importance of implementing improved flood mitigation strategies to prevent future disasters of this magnitude.